I'm Dark Morris. I'm a mid-level boss. I'm the asshole you gotta beat so you can advance to fight a much bigger asshole than myself. I'm just a medium-sized asshole.
Don't play games! I know you're watching. That's right, freak. It behooves you nothing to ignore me.
And I've watched a lot of Steins Gate. It caught my eye on Netflix one lonely, uneventful night. Yes, I spend my nights alone half the time. A lot of the time. I liked it so much that I decided to get it on Blu-ray. And also the fact, at the time, I was disconnecting my internet service. So if I wanted to keep watching it, I'd need a hard copy of my own. Easy decision. It came promptly in the mail a few weeks later. The guy woke me up when I was sleeping to get my package. Or, I forget, I don't know. They probably just jammed it in my mailbox, which is pretty small. I like to watch it a lot until I'd fall asleep. This anime asks the question, what if you could go back to the past with what you know now in the present? We have all pondered this question at one point in our lives. Yeah, don't lie to me. You definitely thought about this, gave it some thought. Yeah? Right. Don't lie to me. Come to your house and, you don't want me to come to your house. Only to make our lives better in ways we would hope. But of course, the immature main protagonist, Okabe Rintaro, throws caution to the wind and doesn't even consider the future. Okabe is the head of the Future Gadget Lab, which is simply his small apartment above a CRT television shop run by Mr. Braun. Okabe is in his mid-20s. He masquerades as a scientist by the name Hoin Kyuma, and happens to be very well-spoken and has quite a vocabulary. It brings the anime liberty. You want him to keep up the persona of a mad scientist, otherwise the Future Gadget Lab would be a pretty dull place.
This is no time to be glib. We must conduct a verifiable field test for Future Gadget numero 8.
Oh, right. The phone wave, real name TBA.
Okabe isn't a real scientist. He drinks Dr. Pepper because he believes that's the kind of soda drink a scientist would drink. He has no credentials or formal education. It is only when Okabe meets Makise Kurisu that his experiments become realized. Makise became a scientist just so her father would be proud of her. So yeah, she has father issues. She grew up in America, where she is a neuroscience researcher, often referred to as Christina. And Okabe likes to call her his assistant. She doesn't like that one bit. Or being called a zombie. Basically, this is what happens when a male in his 20s discovers a way to send text messages back in time via a regular old microwave with his flip phone. Okabe dubs it D-mail, DeLorean mail, DeLorean, Back to the Future. Come on. Marty McFly. And don't worry, these anime characters keep their clothes on. Although Daro Hashida, being the resident pervert, you can always count on him to go there.
What is your trauma? Get away from me!
Feel free to slap him if he gets too grabby.
Okabe likes to call him Hack, derived from hacker, because he thinks it makes him sound more like a man from the Victorian era. And Daru is quite tech-savvy, spending a lot of time in questionable places on the internet. So that's his purpose, besides being a little comedy relief. When Okabe isn't embarrassing himself, usually. He doesn't get along with women that well. This is a very sharp anime that really focuses on its characters, context, and traditional Japanese life. Every character is explored very thoroughly, and they all have great depth. That is what I find so interesting. It's very organic. It stays on a steady pace to establish the characters, the plot, and dry humor. Some might call it too slow and too dry. When things get real and you see each character at their highest point and their lowest point. But the only one that stays consistently herself on the surface is Mayuri Shina. She is so selfless. She's happy to have everyone together, hanging out, and being themselves. Being Okabe's childhood friend, she knows Okabe best. And when he stops being himself, she starts to get worried about him. She'd rather he act more like Hoing Kyuma because she knows the real Okabe is a quiet, sad boy.
A malign spirit has taken possession of my right hand, Rukiko! Banish it before I'm forced to do something unseemly!
Be right back!
The anime believes there is many different parallel timelines of probable realities. The main timeline is called the World Line. There is always a possibility for the World Line to split off onto a new tangent. Through certain actions and decisions that are made in the here and now will cause this. You know? Like real life. However, these changes are minor, and everything will happen like it should with small differences. For example, maybe this one person won't be in an old photograph with all your other friends. You're just not there anymore, you know? So, if you do enough major actions and decisions, you can break into a whole new divergence number to achieve Steins Gate. And I'm hoping I'm using that term properly. Not even I can remember all of this. I watch it enough, but half the time I'm not paying attention. I just hope that's correct. I don't want to go and watch it through again and hopefully catch that one moment where he decides to use the term Steins Gate. Yeah. Meaning, you change the course of time in such a major way, there will be a whole new outcome. Yeah. As time goes on, Okabe starts showing his true self, and everyone wishes he'd keep up the facade of Hoing Kyuma, the mad scientist. They want the liberty. Especially Mayuri. Okabe Rintaro's true self is a lonely, quiet, brooding, sad young man who is more than happy to have guests to his small apartment. He only sells the facade of Hoing Kyuma to fill his small apartment with noise, to give his friends a reason to hang out at his apartment.
Just keep telling yourself that, cue ball. One day the world shall tremble beneath my feet.
He does get obsessed with time travel by reading the exploits of John Teeter. Furthermore, he likes to give everyone nicknames that he chooses to be in his circle, only because they are that special to him. Though, the one he cares about the most, in a romantic sense, Kurusu, he only gives her a hard time because he doesn't want her to get close to him. So he pushes all her buttons. The harder he pushes, the closer she gets. We've all been there. He has a lot of emotions for her, and he only expresses them through indifference and sharp passing insults. But in truth, she's just as lonely and unhappy as him. That's why she keeps coming back to the Future Gadget Lab's headquarters, aka Okabe's little apartment. You know how it is, you rather she never met you because you know it's not going to end well. It saves time and no one gets hurt. Though that's a defeatist attitude. One should let come what may, because the risk is worth the reward. At least then, you've lived and experienced things you wouldn't have. It'll be a cool story to tell, good or bad. Okabe Rintaro is quite immature, evidently. He does do some growing throughout the anime, where his true self and the Hoing Kyuma facade gel in a way that makes him a stronger person. We have to have that phallic attitude and personality, but express ourselves seamlessly. Some may call that being a gentleman. Things change when they modify their time machine apparatus to send Okabe's mind back in time. Because he's the only one that recalls the previous world line, he calls it his reading Steiner. But there's always consequences. CERN, an evil organization that has been trying to invent time travel since the 70s, learns of the Future Gadget Lab's activities. CERN is destined to make a terrible future if they are left unchecked. Really funny that it couldn't just be a story about this kid in his small apartment inventing time travel for whatever reason, but of course you need some motivation, some plot device that could turn everything on its head. But in 20 years is pretty much ruled by CERN. I just find that funny, really funny, because of course that has to happen. It's like me, if I don't change, if I don't make my YouTube channel very popular, somebody else will. And we're all gonna be looking for John Connor to save us, because it's just hell. We live out of cans of food. I'm rambling a lot, but hopefully this comes out well in post. And my tone of voice and demeanor in his voiceover is kind of undercutting the seriousness and the philosophy of what's happening, what I'm trying to explain here. Okay, back to the script.
Idiot, you betrayed me to this nattering vixen?
This is when the anime gets very exciting. Everything that has happened recently becomes extremely important for Okabe to remember how everything transpires. It's so very interesting to wonder how things may play out in a specific window of time if you do things differently. Say, you go on a trip one weekend. You meet up with some old friends in town. You take them all out for dinner. Two have an argument and they both run off upset. Which do you go after? Do you stay with the others? Everyone is going to judge you for what you do at this point and will think of you differently. Do you help yourself for beneficial reasons? Do you save face? Do you do the right thing? Maybe giving them space is what they need. Remember, you can't make everyone happy. A single solitary text message can change the course of time. Or if you try to be a little more involved in someone's daily life to see a different side of them. Of course we don't, because we don't want to appear too intrusive or too eager to want to message and hang out with them more. But half the time, there's a time and place to do things with friends. Otherwise, they're unavailable. Or are they? There's always pivotal points in time we need to be present and recognize to act accordingly, to deliberately steer things in our favor. You might not recognize them. You might think your actions are predetermined. You might have said the wrong thing and you wish you can take it back. But sadly, we gotta face the fact some things can't be reversed. I can relate to this anime a lot. It makes me laugh. It makes me think. It's very easy to watch without any obnoxious characters or excessive nudity. It's nicely dubbed in English. It doesn't force plot points or bad punchlines. You might find it dull or slow or not exciting enough. Yes, there's a lot of substance here, so give it a watch. No pun intended.